You can help out local deputies by getting a good look at this minivan and sharing these images here on social media, hoping that someone can provide answers on a suspicious incident involving a man in this minivan and a young boy here in the Tampa Bay area. Hey there, everybody. JB Buno here with you live on WFLA Now. We've activated Share to Help on the bottom of your screen. Reason being is that you can help out the Pasco County Sheriff's Office here in the Tampa Bay area by sharing out these images of a minivan connected to what Pasco County deputies call a suspicious incident this morning on US 19 and Moog Road in Holiday. That is in Pasco County, the northern side of the Tampa Bay area. And you can see here these images. I want to talk about these images first and foremost because we just got off the phone with Amanda Hunter, the public information officer for the Pasco County Sheriff's Office, and it was foggy this morning. These images really were foggy, and this altercation was said to be under foggy conditions, so that's why we don't have a license plate number. But a suspicious incident involving an apparent altercation leading to a boy, Hispanic boy between the age of 10 and 15, getting in this minivan. And we don't know any potential connection between the driver of the minivan, said to be a male, the driver of the minivan, and the 10 to 15-year-old boy. But this is currently being looked at by the Pasco County Sheriff's Office. They are digging for information, but really, first and foremost, what they need from people to folks, you on social media, they need help getting these images out there, and hopefully somebody recognizes this minivan in the area of Holiday, Florida, and calls 911. So, I see a lot of folks. Selena, I'll give some shares or some shout outs here for people that share this on Facebook. We're live here on Facebook Live, and you can see Share to Help on the bottom of your screen. You can share to help out the Pasco County Sheriff's Office. If you live in the Tampa Bay area especially, you're helping them out, doing a great service by sharing out these images because they are trying to, again, just got off the phone with them 5 minutes ago, they are trying to get more information on this minivan. And if you recognize this minivan, you're asked to call 911. Now, the boy that got in this minivan, we don't know where that boy is, and we don't know if there was any prior relationship. This could be a situation between a parent and a child not wanting to get in the minivan. It could be that, but it rose to the level of suspicion that they call it a suspicious incident because there was an apparent altercation that occurred at the minivan between the driver of the minivan, a male, and a young boy, a Hispanic boy between the age of 10 and 15. Witnesses telling deputies that the boy then got out of the minivan, which drove off headed south towards Tarpon Springs. So the boy got out of the minivan, and then the minivan drove south towards Tarpon Springs. And according to the tweet from the Sheriff's Office, the minivan is a powder blue Dodge or Chrysler. You can see it here. I originally saw it, and I thought it was a Chrysler minivan, but they're saying it also could be a Dodge as well. That looks like the Chrysler emblem to me. No license plate number given just because of the amount of heavy fog in the area. And this is a good reminder for folks out there. Creepers are out there. You know this, I know this. Of course, we hear about suspicious incidents all the time, and it's a good reminder that this kind of thing is capable of happening, and not just in Florida, anywhere. So if you may be watching from, maybe you're a parent watching from, you found us on WFLA.com or the WFLA app, or maybe on Facebook, and you found us from a different section of the country, this is just a good reminder for all parents and all guardians out there to be mindful that we cover really terrible situations all the time involving kids, whether they're walking to school, coming home from school. The incident happening at 7:45 this morning. So that's around the time that school would be getting underway, give or take. Now, I spoke to the Pasco County Sheriff's Office. They have deputies that are talking to businesses along US 19. They're also contacting local schools and trying to determine if there was anybody matching that description. Again, a white, it's described now, a white or Hispanic boy, white or Hispanic. I said Hispanic earlier, but it is white or Hispanic based on what they believe, between the ages of 10 and 15, wearing a long black sleeve shirt, or a black long sleeve shirt, and they're calling local schools in Pasco County to determine if anybody matching that description, white or Hispanic boy between age 10 and 15, not showing up to school this morning. because then if they have somebody not showing up to school, it could be connected to, again, this suspicious incident out of Pasco County, Florida. We'll try to do what we do here on WFLA Now, and we'll feature some of your comments. You can see it here on your screen as we do on WFLA Now. You can use hashtag HeyJB as we try to interact with you, our Facebook Live audience. If you have a question about this story, or if you just have an observation, a comment that you want to throw out there, provided, of course, that it's clean for air. If you use hashtag HeyJB, we'll throw it up here on screen. Desiree Nicole asking or saying hashtag HeyJB, my son is 14 in 8th grade, and I still will not let my son walk to or from the bus stop. I pick him up or walk with him. And parents out there, they very aware of some of the terrible stories that have occurred with people out there looking to prey on children. No indication whatsoever that is what happened with certainty in this case. This could be just a big misunderstanding. We don't know. The Pasco County Sheriff's Office is trying to get more information to determine what happened between the male driver of this minivan and the boy, white or Hispanic boy, between the ages of 10 and 15. But parents out there, like Desiree, know that there are people out there looking to take advantage of kids that whether it's on their way to school, on their way home from school, on their way to a local park or a friend's house. We cover these stories all the time, and they're tragic. And so parents always trying to keep their guard up and also trying to talk to their kids and make sure that they know that there is evil in the world. And it's something that we have to remain vigilant of, and it falls on us as journalists as well to keep you informed as to what goes on in your community. This is very much a community reporting type of story where we're alerting the community to a situation that unfolded this morning, 7:45 this morning, involving a kid getting into a minivan and an apparent altercation that is said to have taken place. So you can see the Share to Help banner on the bottom of your screen, hoping that we get more shares here out for this incident. Again, the Pasco County Sheriff's Office just trying to get more information about the minivan. And you can't see the license plate number because of the heavy fog that there was this morning in the Tampa Bay area. I see some commenters talking about human trafficking. We've been talking about human trafficking on the news as well. Jane Forbes, hashtag HeyJB, has the child been found? We don't know who the Pasco County Sheriff's Office doesn't know who the child is. Child goes into the minivan, gets out of the minivan, and then the minivan heads south towards Tarpon Springs. Businesses on US 19 are being interviewed as far as trying to get more information as to where the minivan was heading or who might have been driving that minivan. But the child gets into the minivan, drove off, headed towards Tarpon Springs. We don't know. I want to make sure I have this right. Deputies say that a witness reported seeing a man in a minivan having an altercation with a boy. The witness telling deputies that the boy got into the minivan and then drove off and headed south towards Tarpon Springs. According to a tweet from the Sheriff's Office, the minivan is powder blue Dodge or Chrysler. No license plate number was visible on the van due to heavy fog in the area Friday morning. So the child got into the van, and we don't know where the child is right now. We don't know where the child is. And the child could be with a parent. This could be a parent's vehicle. We don't know. But there was enough of an altercation that raised to the level of this being a suspicious incident in the opinions of the Pasco County Sheriff's Office. So they're, again, trying to get shares out there and trying to do their part. But again, child got into the van. I think I misspoke earlier. Child got into the van, and then the van drove off and headed south towards Tarpon Springs. So apologies if I misspoke there. I was reading very, very quickly the details on this story. This happened, let's get to this comment that just came in by Susie. Susie asking hashtag HAB, what is the address where this started? This happened at US 19 and Moog Road in Holiday. So at that intersection, that's the, and I'm not sure where these images are coming from, but these images coming from in the area, images that were snapped of the minivan. And hopefully able to use these images to somebody out there knows this vehicle, and hopefully somebody out there sees this vehicle. Rob, I see Rob sending in a picture of a comparable Chrysler. Yeah, I too, Rob, I'm with you. I thought that I thought that when I saw this, I saw a Chrysler, but deputies, listen, the sheriff's office knows best. They study images like this all the time. They know the make and model of so many vehicles, and they're saying this also, too, could be a Dodge, but I too, see a Chrysler. Susie with a follow-up question. Again, we're asking or answering your questions with hashtag HAB. Could this just be a kid that didn't want to go to school? Absolutely. This could be an altercation that occurred between a parent and a child that didn't want to go to school, or maybe was going to school and then said, you know what, I don't want to go to school today. I'm going to go walk to the local McDonald's and pick up an Egg McMuffin. That absolutely could be the situation here. But they don't know because there was a witnessed altercation that rose to the level of it being a suspicious incident, and now the Pasco County Sheriff's Office just wants more information. But I've talked to parents in our newsroom, and there have been times where your child is just being uncooperative, we'll just say. We'll use that word, uncooperative. And it can rise to the level of it being an altercation between you and your child, getting your child into the vehicle or getting the child into your car. So could this be a parent just trying to get his kid into the minivan? Absolutely. But it was enough of an altercation where the Pasco County Sheriff's Office looked at this and said, this is a suspicious incident. We want more information, and we want to make sure that this isn't an abduction or a kidnapping of any kind. We can't say for certain that this is an abduction or a kidnapping or there's a child missing because we don't have a missing child alert of any kind. We don't know whether or not this was a parent or a grandparent, an aunt or an uncle. We just don't know. It was really foggy out there in Pasco County this morning, and that's why we don't have a license plate number to show you. I will look for some more hashtag AJB questions and comments in the whether you have an observation, something that you'd like to point out. Great question by Linda Jacobs that just came in. Hashtag AJB. What was the altercation that you mentioned? It's unspecified, but they call it, quote unquote, an altercation between the boy, white or Hispanic, 10 to 15 years old, long black sleeve shirt, or black long sleeve shirt, depending on how you describe it. And the altercation rose to the level of a suspicious incident. So don't have any more details from the Pasco County Sheriff's Office about what this altercation was. And yeah, and then Valerie is asking the same thing. Valerie, hashtag AJB. What type of altercation? Was it yelling, physical touching, wondering if he threatened to get in the vehicle? These are more questions that are that we will hopefully find out from the Pasco County Sheriff's Office. Was there yelling? A lot of times surveillance cameras like this, you don't hear audio, but maybe you can see what appears to be two people shouting at each other. We don't know. All we know is the word that was used is altercation. Debbie with this comment that just came in seconds ago. Hello to you, Debbie, and hello to all of our commenters. Hashtag HJB, is a child missing in school? Why are they assuming kidnapped? They're not assuming kidnapped. This hasn't risen to the level of a missing child alert at this time because no one is reporting a missing child. Let's make that very clear. They are checking area schools to ensure that there are no kids missing. But right now, this isn't a situation of a missing child alert at this time. Now, later on today, is it possible that later on today, when kids are returning home from school and there is a child that doesn't come home, yes, that would, of course, then rise to the level of a missing child alert. But right now, we just have a child getting into this minivan and the minivan driving south towards Tarpon Springs along US 19. But we don't have any concrete information that a child is missing. Because, again, this could be a known person to the child. This could be a parent or a grandparent driving that car, sibling, an older sibling driving this vehicle, picking them up, taking them back to school because they didn't want to go to school, or taking them, to a family member's house. There's just so many different scenarios. The point of this, and this is what I want people to take from this live stream, is that there's so much unknown here. The Pasco County Sheriff's Office is just trying to get more information. There's so much that's unknown. They would like to have more, and they need the public's help. And of course, they use the media and they use us to help distribute stories like these to help get tips and generate tips. So if you recognize this minivan, you're asked to call 911. And if you recognize this minivan in Portland, Oregon, or you recognize this minivan in San Diego, California, no, don't call 911. We're talking about the Tampa Bay area, particularly Pasco County in the area of Holiday and Tarpon Springs. So if you recognize this minivan in our area, you're asked to call 911. And they'll follow up on the lead as to who the registered driver of this minivan is. Again, no license plate, but they'll try to determine who the minivan belongs to, and that will be the lead that perhaps opens up the investigation to find out what this altercation was between a young boy and the male driver of this minivan. Thank you, Melissa, for the kind comment. I do see some very kind comments coming in towards me. Thank you. I very much appreciate that. You know, it's interesting. I'll throw up this comment. We'll address this comment from Teed Up Threads. Hashtag KJB. Okay, so why are you posting a story that no one has a clue about? If you have no clue, the news needs to stop spreading fear and assumptions. Y'all are just flapping your gums. You know, if this does become a missing child alert, it's this kind of comment. You know, people say, you know, it's a damned if you do, damned if you don't sort of situation. Because if we did have an opportunity to get this story out earlier on, because of a potential altercation that occurred, or an apparent altercation that occurred, and a suspicious incident, in the words of the Pasco County Sheriff's Office, we have a responsibility to, of course, get out this information as quickly as possible to help our local law enforcement agencies. So being critical of us for doing this now, we would get so much flack in hindsight if we had sat on this report, and if this does become a missing child alert or an Amber Alert of some kind, if it does become a kidnapping or an abduction story down the line, people are going to say, wait, you were sitting on this information, you could have done more earlier on in the day, why didn't you do more? So, and do Monday morning quarterbacking. So no, I got off the phone with the Pasco County Sheriff's Office. I spoke to them. I said, just give me all the latest on this story, and talk to me about the altercation, the suspicious incident. Give me information here, and do you need help? And the Pasco County Sheriff's Office is putting this out there because they do need help from the public. So we're doing a public service to help the Pasco County Sheriff's Office generate tips. And the more people that watch this, the more people that stream, the more or share, the more people that we're exposed to, the more of a chance that there is that somebody sees this image, knows this minivan in the Holiday or Tarpon Springs or Pasco County area, contacts 911, and we find out more about whether or not there was a potential abducting or kidnapping. But right now, this is an apparent altercation that occurred at the intersection of US 19 and Moog Road in Holiday, Florida at 7:45 this morning, and the Pasco County Sheriff's Office describes it as a suspicious incident that they are working to try to get more information on. So it's because they don't have information that we're live here with you, because they're trying to get more and they're asking for the public's help. So hopefully, Teed Up Threads, that addresses your question, your comment. Reading some more comments and questions. And you know what? If this does turn out to be, let me just make this clear. And this is why we can do what we do on WFLA Now. I can talk to you guys like a human being. If this doesn't turn out to be anything, if this turns out to be just a parent and an unruly child, and child that didn't want to go to school and wanted a 3-day weekend, and this turned out to be a big misunderstanding, all right, well, you know what? Better safe than sorry. And we did our due diligence as far as helping a local law enforcement agency and spreading this news on social media. And we will, of course, do the responsible thing, follow up with you as to what this suspicious incident was. But if this was something serious, if this was a suspicious incident, and if this was something involving a stranger in a minivan picking up a child, and if it gets worse from this point onward, we're doing a public service to help people out. But this is, at the very least, this is a good reminder of what is out there, what is potentially out there for parents and guardians when they send their kids to school every day or when their kids are coming home from school every day. At the very least, this is just a reminder, a sobering reminder as to some of the stories that we cover involving kids, and terrible things that happen. Deanna Mosley, #HJB. As a mom, I appreciate this better than sorry, is the comment there. All right, so here we go. Here's an, and again, Mike, if this is the truth, call 911. Mike, #HJB. I live in Holiday, about 2 blocks from where this happened, and I've seen this van numerous times around the area. Mike, if you do have a witness account of this minivan, you're asked to call 911 and tell them what you know, where you live, what you know, where you've seen the van, when you've seen the van, who you've seen the van being driven by, the who, what, when, where, why, and how of the story of what you know and pertaining to these images and these images of this minivan. Please do the responsible thing and call 911. Barbie, this will be the last comment that we're going to take. Barbie, #HJB. If it were my child, I would want to know what vehicle they were in, hoping all turns out well. Yeah, and a lot of our commenters seem to agree with me that it appears to be a Chrysler, but the Pasco County Sheriff's Office saying it's Dodge as well. You see share to help there on the bottom of your screen. We're going to leave this up for a few more minutes. And one more time, encourage as many people as possible. If you're watching right now, hitting the share button does a lot of good because it exposes this story and these images to a whole new audience. So every time you click that share button, it does a public service, trying to help out one of our local law enforcement agencies, the Pasco County Sheriff's Office, in distributing these images and hoping that this brings this story to a happy ending of some kind. So let's find out more information, hopefully by getting these images out there, generating tips through social media. You see share to help on the bottom of your screen. Again, this is the Pasco County Sheriff's Office asking for the public's help, investigating the suspicious incident in Holiday after an apparent altercation between a man and a boy who eventually got in this van. Age 10 to 15 years old, white or Hispanic boy, seen wearing a black long sleeve shirt, male driver of the minivan, a minivan that headed south from Holiday towards Tarpon Springs in Pasco County, Florida. If you have any information on this minivan in the Tampa Bay area, powder blue, perhaps a Dodge or Chrysler, you're asked to contact the Sheriff's Office by calling 911. You can find more on this story right now by clicking on the link in the description on this video. It'll take you over to WFLA.com, the WFLA app, where we have the latest.